Howdy y'all, it's Curious Raven. I hope y'all have had a great week. Today I'm going to read a collection of stories for you. Hope you enjoy. Number 1. This is not my story. I'm simply sharing it because it's intriguing. Spring break of 2010. My buddies and I decided to camp out on an island at a local lake. One night as we were cooking food and drinking beer, a canoe floats by with one guy in it. He asked how we were doing, and we invited him to our island for grilled meat and beers. Being in South Arkansas, we naturally assume that everyone is friendly and wants to hang out. His name was Kurt, and he was super friendly, but really seemed to be sad. We asked him what was up, and he replied, "Oh, nothing, really. It's just that my friends are probably worried about me." He looked at me and winked. We'll find out soon enough. That still haunts me to this day. Everyone liked Kurt, and noticing that it was getting dark and he had been drinking, we offered to let him stay with us that night. He declined, saying that he had to get to where he was going, and he seemed very adamant about that. I asked where he was heading, thinking maybe we could give him a ride on a jet ski or something. Kurt ignored the question and said, "You boys don't know how lucky you are." He hopped into his canoe and left. We didn't think much about it. The next morning we woke up early to do some fishing. As we're fishing, a police boat pulls up. The officer asks if we were part of the search party that found the body. We obviously have no clue what he's talking about, so he tells us a story about a young man in a canoe that disappeared last week. Apparently, divers found his body at the bottom of the lake 2 days before. The young man's name was Kurt Clark. This was so freaky for us that we all packed up and left camp that day. The above is one of the witnesses' testimonies as to what they experienced. Below is an online newspaper article with information about the deceased. Hot Springs searchers on Monday recovered the body of a teenager who drowned when his canoe capsized on Lake Ouachita last week. They found the body of Curtis Peyton Clark, 19, in about 43 feet of water around 3 p.m. after previous attempts to locate the corpse failed. Garland County Sheriff's spokesman Lieutenant James Martin said that Clark was from Helena, West Helena. He and a friend were in the water last Thursday during windy weather, which caused the canoe to capsize about 200 yards from shore. Both tried to swim to safety, but Clark went under. Number 2. Growing up, my mom was a part of a ghost hunting group that would investigate old buildings and homes owners reported haunted. She had 2 major prize findings that kind of made everyone question, what the hell? One was a little girl looking for her mom on an audio. I think the tape recording was placed in an attic in a home somewhere mid-state California. The second finding was a picture she took down a hallway of an old restaurant hotel, and in the picture you can see a waiter clear as day with an old uniform on, like the white shirt, black vest, big mustache kind. The restaurant hotel is called the Springville Inn in Springville, California. When I was very young, like 5 to 7, I would see this lady in my house I grew up in, but she was always in the corner of my vision. When I would try to look directly at her, she would disappear. But when I'd look away, she would reappear in the same spot, or maybe somewhere else in the corner of my vision. She had brown hair to her shoulders, wore a green turtleneck long sleeve, blue jean pants, and brown boots. However, her face was blacked out almost. It's kind of hard to explain, but her face was almost like a shadow I couldn't see. Every time I saw her, I would get scared, until a couple of years later, I saw her while I was eating ice cream on the couch and watching TV. I took a big bite and saw her and froze. I immediately told myself, I'm not scared, I see her all the time, and nothing happens. She's harmless or not real. Then when I went for a second bite, she moved for the very first time and started walking to me. I ran and screamed bloody murder to my parents' bedroom. I didn't see her again after that. Fast forward to my 6th grade self. My parents started a pretty shitty divorce. It was a lot of yelling and fighting. But that's when it was the worst in that house. Now everyone is experiencing something, and I think that the negativity from the divorce was triggering it. My dad experienced 2 significant experiences. One was seeing a clearly dead, rotting girl standing behind my mom, and he completely screamed and ran out of the house, left all of us in there. The second was he was sleeping on the couch and supposedly got punched in the face. My brother and his friends heard walking on our ceiling that stopped right above their heads. I heard knocking on our walls and a china cabinet door panel. Then I was sleeping on the couch when something grabbed my toe and woke me up. And as soon as I laid my head down, I was dragged from the arm of the couch. We moved shortly after that. None of my friends or brothers' friends wanted to even come in the house from their own experiences. Fast forward to my mom's apartment in the 8th grade. I never experienced something there, but I can remember. However, one morning my mom asked me if I had ever seen or heard anyone in the house when I was sleeping on the couch. I said, no, why? She said, never mind. I kind of flipped out because if someone was in the house, I need to know about it, especially if I'm just passed out on the couch. She said that she woke up from her bed with shaking almost like an earthquake. She thought at first, and then she said she'd seen a shadow man standing in her doorway. She rolled over and grabbed a screwdriver on the nightstand, but then he was gone. She then cleared the house with the screwdriver and nobody was there and the doors were all locked. Fast forward to high school. I'm pretty much living at my buddy's house. We pretty much just had multiple experiences of banging on the walls, and we would bang back, kind of messing with whatever it was. When we would drink and take a pee break, both bathrooms in the house shared a wall, so we would bang on the wall trying to mess with each other. One day, when we weren't drinking, I went to pee, and he was in the garage, and then I heard banging on the wall, so I banged back. And I heard footsteps running down the hallway. I then confronted him laughing, asking why he ran down the hallway like a little kid. He said he never went inside, and that he was in the garage the whole time. But I didn't believe him. A few weeks later, when I was in the living room, he came out of the bathroom asking me the same question. I told him I was sitting in the living room the whole time. He didn't believe me, told me to quit lying until one day we were both in the living room and his girlfriend at the time walked out of the bathroom asking what the hell is our problem. Both of us, super confused, asked what she was talking about. She said, don't act stupid. One of you banged on the door, then tried to open it and ran down the hallway like a little kid. Me and my buddy, then in total shock, looked at each other like, holy shit, you weren't lying. Fast forward to recently. I'm now 25 with a family of my own. My wife and I hear running up and down the stairs when my kids are sleeping. Then one night, a couple months ago, I woke up to a man standing at the foot of my bed. I jumped up. I'm ready to beat the shit out of this dude. But as soon as I jumped up, he was gone. I cleared the house and no one was there. I looked up on Google what I saw to see maybe I was just lucid dreaming. Nope. My heart went into my ass when I saw thousands of people saw the exact same man. When I saw a picture of him, it was exactly what I saw at the foot of my bed. The Hat Man. Never even heard of this thing before, and the way I hear about him is seeing him, then finding out thousands of other people have seen the same exact thing. What do you guys think is going on? Why am I experiencing so much stuff? Number 3. 1. So, when me and my sister were young, we would leave the doors wide open, but then we would check back and they were closed. Number 2. Moving over to my sister a little more recently, she met a person who was pretty spiritual. She has now become my sister's best friend. Recently, my sister has been using incense, but never went far into any spiritual stuff. And when she was going to go out to the local Circle K, she saw what she thought was a tweaker. When she got closer, however, the figure was still completely dark. It was about 7 o'clock in the evening early this year. She said the figure appeared to be a boy with a haircut that looked similar to a haircut of Cole from the show Anne with an E. The figure walked into the forest. My sister searched on Reddit and found out it was called a shadow person. Number 3. This has been recent and older times for me. I've been putting my stuff outside on spots, and when I look back, it's on the ground. The place where I live, a lot of Native Americans were killed. And I guess the one outside is just mad that he got killed and slapped stuff. Number 4. The door ghost is back. I mean, at the time of writing this, I just got hit with a swirl of air as my bathroom door slammed. I asked my sister, the only other person in the house, if it was not her, but I guess the ghost is friendly because it closes the door for us. And yes, I do think it's the same one that we had all that time ago. I don't know where the hell it went for 8 years, but it's back. And I hope it stays because I leave doors open a lot. Update. We definitely have a ghost. My sister heard the dogs in the garage barking violently. And when she was going upstairs, she heard footsteps on the stairs. This is when she came into my room and told me about this. We went downstairs with our Pit Lab mix cache and found nothing. However, when we went back up, we hear the door gate at the start of the stairs making a noise behind us. The noise it made can only be made when it shakes. So, some ghost is definitely following us. We did the whole thing on telling it to leave us alone and whatnot, but I'm currently in her room with her scared shitless. Number 4. We have lived in this house for 9 years without any weird issues. 6 months ago, we moved my mother-in-law in because my father-in-law had just passed away, and my mother-in-law was going through chemo and needed extra help. It was a roller coaster ride, plenty of ups and downs. The last week was an unexpected downward spiral, and she passed away November 7th. Since then, our lights are turning on and off on their own accord. The dog-shaped hand sanitizer holder from the Bath and Body Works belonged to my mother-in-law keeps barking, and some bagels from the pantry fell across the room, landing a good 3 feet away. I don't get bad vibes, nothing negative. We know for certain it's my mother-in-law, but my concerns are, number 1, is she stuck? She was fighting like hell to beat cancer and afraid she is still in the refusal state. Number 2, is she trying to tell us something? She's very obviously trying to get our attention. How do I listen better? I just want the best for her. I don't want her to be stuck in a weird limbo. I'm worried. How do I make sure things are okay? Alright, that is the end of this collection of stories. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I love y'all so much. I will see y'all next week sometime. Until then, remember it's scary out there. Please like and subscribe.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross